Hello, and welcome to round 27 of the TPO Rankings Show, a show about Australian football through the lens of the TPO rankings. It's like the FIFA World Rankings, but heaps better, at least 100 times better, because we just focus on Australian football clubs. Now, I am joined by a man who dislikes iPhones. He thinks they are for losers. A man who starts fights on Twitters on the daily, and a man who wears shorts when it's definitely inappropriate to do so. Jake, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good, Cody. I'm not sure which one of your points I need to start with, to be honest.
You don't have to touch on any of them.
You know what?
Yep.
I was going to say, I'm going to leave them all out there because I can't disagree with any of them.
I also will mention one that you definitely can't disagree with is running 10 minutes late tonight, Jake. Any comments?
Nothing. I got a 2 and a 4-year-old. That's my only defence.
Okay. Well, you probably are early then in that case. You're probably ahead of time. So anyway, tonight we're talking the round of 16 FFA Cup games that are on Tuesday evening. It's Monday evening now at 8:51, 21 minutes late. We're talking the 4 games on Tuesday night, so I'm going to get this up nice and early by Tuesday before the games kick off. I think it's 7:30, Jake. So we're talking those 4 games. But as per usual, we've got some games to recap from last week that we previewed, and then we've got some other games we're looking forward to this weekend. Some exciting fixtures. We're up to finals. It's finals footy, and around a lot of the NPLs and some of the other NPLs are just 1 or 2 rounds remaining. So let's jump in, Jake. We've got 4 games here to recap. So Sunny Coast Wanderers up here on a beautiful Sunshine Coast versus Logan Lightning. This is an important game for finals footy. We predicted a Sunny Coast Wanderers win. The supporters, 64% of you on Instagram stories went for Logan. So we were at odds here, and Sunny Coast Wanderers got up 2-0. On the back of that result, Wanderers jump up 9 places on the TPO rankings to 125th, and Logan falls 7 places to 120th, so they're pretty close now. On the ladder, on the all-important ladder, with 1 game remaining, Sunny Coast Wanderers are in 3rd. They're equal on points with 4th place. No, sorry, they're 1 point ahead of South United, who are in 4th, and Logan are also on 43 points. So it's going to go down to the wire, and with Sunny Coast Wanderers, they've got top of the table and undefeated powerhouses, Peninsula Power, this weekend, so it's going to be really tough for them. And South and Logan are breathing down their neck. To just quickly mention, South have got Wolves at home, and Logan are at home to Metrostars, so it'd be interesting. My other game, I believe this was mine anyway. Yeah, it was in the Northern New South Wales NPL, and it was another sort of finals contention. Now the season is wrapped up after this weekend, and the season went to Edgeworth, but this game was between Maitland FC at home to Broadmeadow Magic. Now the TPO rankings predicted a Magic win, a Broadmeadow win. The supporters agreed, 66% of you guys. The result, however, was a Maitland FC 2-0 win. They needed to win that to stay in finals or make the finals, and they did. They finished in 3rd out of top 4 finals. The other game we were talking about was Hamilton Olympic, because if they had won, they would have jumped Maitland if Maitland didn't win. And Hamilton did win. They did get up in the end. So it was really important that Maitland got this win. As I mentioned, they finished in 3rd. Broadmeadow, who are playing tomorrow night in the FFA Cup, they're not in great form at the moment. I think that's 2 losses on the trot, and they fall 2 places to 30th on the rankings. Maitland jump up 3 spots to 55th. Finals footy in Northern New South Wales NPL this weekend. Jake, I need a breather. Can you grab these?
Yeah, I'll take on the 2 that I had. One of them was in Western Australia. It was the Perth Glory youth team against Coburn City. And this one, we had Glory as the favourites, the youth team, and supporters quite overwhelming. 84% of you also picked the Glory. It ended 3-3, so neither of us got this one. We kind of scrapped draws, as we've mentioned in the past. And as a result of that, Perth Glory stay in 56th on the TPO rankings. Coburn City move up 1 place to 85th. The result, if Perth Glory had won, that would have sealed the premiership for them. So the draws actually left it open until the last round. And it didn't really help Coburn City either. So they ended up, after the round of games, down in 5th, which is 1 spot outside of the finals. And so they'll have to win and hope results go their way in the final week. The other 3 teams below Perth Glory, and I should also say the other club that's in contention there is Perth Soccer Club in 2nd. They're the only other club that can win it, although both of those clubs are playing sides kind of further down the table. So Perth Glory will go in against Subiaco, who are kind of in that relegation battle, so they do have a lot to play for. The other game that I picked was a midweek game. It was Canberra Olympic versus Cooma Tigers, and this one was important because Canberra it was a catch-up game, and if Canberra Olympic won it, they then had a final catch-up game against Canberra FC on the weekend just gone, and that would have made the final catch-up game, which happened after the technical end of the season, a winner takes all for the premiership. We picked Olympic to win this one. Supporters, 70% of you also picked Olympic, and it ended up in a thrashing. Canberra Olympic won that 7-0, so they smashed Tigers. And so they went into that final game on Sunday against Canberra FC, and the winner was going to win the title. And in the end, Canberra FC won that one. So Olympic, even though they won the midweek game, they lost on the weekend on Sunday. So in terms of both of those games, their movement in the rankings over the last 7 days was to fall 4 places down to 66th. And Cooma, as a result, they only had the one game in the last week. They fell 5 spots there, down in 119th.
Cool. And Jake, a bit of a sneak preview. I think we're talking about the Canberra FC, Canberra Olympic major semi
rematch
later on in the show. Yeah, rematch. Okay, so out of those 4 games, 1 was a draw, so we scrapped that in terms of the running leaderboard here. We got 2 out of 3, and you guys, the supporters, got 1 out of 3. So we jump up with a 6-point gap now. We're on 56 points. You guys are on 50. And yeah, it's drawing close to the end of the year, and so I think we're gonna win this one.
Anyways,
can we
draw
Jake,
a line in there? Yeah, we're come on.
Yeah, I don't know. Exactly. Jake, other movements in the rankings?
I won't touch on too many. There was a couple though. Blacktown City's probably notable movement. They had quite a big fall this week, and they got knocked. That's because they got knocked out of the finals in New South Wales, and that was they lost to Rockdale City Suns, so they're done for the year. They actually fell 6 places down to 25th, so you don't often see a team in the top 25 fall that many places in a single week, so that was a big one. Canberra Olympic. Sorry, did I jump in on you there, Cody? You going to say something?
No, I didn't say that, Jake. Must be hearing
just hearing noises in the background. That's okay. Canberra Olympic, the highest ACT ranked club, despite, as we mentioned, losing to Canberra FC on the weekend. But they're only just ahead of Canberra FC, and as you just mentioned, they play each other again in the finals this weekend. And if they lose again, it's probably going to be that Canberra FC will become the highest ranked club in the ACT there. And then just looking a little bit further down the table, in the rankings table, at the top 100, there's 3 clubs that have jumped up into the top 100 this week. They are Modbury Jets, who moved up to 92nd, Lake Macquarie City, who come in at 93rd, and then Mounties Wanderers, who have just snuck in there in 100th. And the 3 clubs that dropped out or were replaced in the top 100 were Mornington from Victoria, Armidale from Western Australia, and the Newcastle Jets youth team from Northern New South Wales.
Okie dokie. Part 2 of the show. We're going to FFA Cup. 4 games, as we mentioned, in the round of 16. We've got Avondale and Devonport City, Cairns at home to Sydney FC, RP at home to Melbourne Victory, and Broadmeadow Magic at home to Bentley Greens. Jake, let's jump in and preview some of these. We'll go one for one. I'm just going to jump in here at random, open up an image here, and we'll share these images on the video for those listening to the podcast. Maybe check back in the video at about the just 8-9 minute mark, and you'll be able to find these images that we are talking to. I'm going to jump in actually I'll let you get Avondale, Jake, hence the shirt. I'll go to RPA Leichhardt at home to Melbourne Victory. So this is going to be the interesting one. If we're going to see an upset, I think this might be it. Melbourne Victory, obviously a great club, ranked in at 2nd on the TPO rankings. RPR, however, the highest ranked, at least for now, only just after they lost on the weekend. They're the highest ranked non-A League club in at 9th. The probabilities are obviously backing Melbourne Victory. We've got, I think, 63% probability of a Victory win and only 19 for RPR and 19 for the draw. But yeah, it's going to be a great game. RPR they were on such a hot run, and then they sort of had that loss and draw in their league, which sort of pegged them back a bit. But Melbourne Victory obviously just in pre-season, so you never know. And just as a bit of a sneak preview, I actually put this out on Instagram stories for the vote this morning, so it's had nearly the whole day, and the fans are voting up here, Jake. It's going to be an interesting one. Do you think they can do it?
It's a big ask, it is. But, Melbourne Victory still in pre-season. Maybe they can do it. I mean, there's all those questions about whether Honda will play. I haven't heard any more, but I can't see that that'll happen. I can't see that they'll risk him in their first game in a kind of pre-season match. That's how A-League teams tend to treat this competition a little bit anyway.
Jake, I think he's busy coaching Cambodia.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway. Online football manager style.
He's got a Skype hookup. Yeah.
Ridiculous. And we should also say, for those looking at the image, and if you might have picked up on what Cody said there, that RPU have had a loss and a draw. That draw is actually a loss because it was in a penalty shootout. So the way that the TPO rankings treats that is because it's at the end of the game. It was a draw. That's how we calculate the movement in points and that sort of thing. So it ended up being a loss to Sydney United in penalties. So the last two were technically losses. So
technically losses. Jake, I'll let you go to Avondale and Devonport if you got that one.
Yeah, right. I'm pulling that one up now. So let's have a look here. We've got Avondale and Devonport. I actually picked this as one of my favourites just because Devonport's looking quite good lately. Avondale also have had a good run of form, although they lost their last game. And their both teams are actually 4 wins from their last 5. Avondale ranked 17th in the country at the moment. Devonport ranked 47th and obviously had that win over Northcote quite easy in the round of 32. The stats, though, favour Avondale at home, so we're giving them a 65% chance of winning and Devonport a 17% chance. So those numbers that I just mentioned, Cody, aren't too different from the numbers you mentioned for Apia and Victory, so that's kind of the difference in quality according to the TPO rankings anyway. And yeah, I don't know, Devonport, I actually give Devonport a better chance than 17% here, Cody. I know Avondale have been a great side this year, but Devonport have really been doing well.
And what they dispatch Northcote by? Was it 3-0 or something?
It was it 4-1 in the end, I think.
4-1.
Somebody correct me, I'm sure, but yeah.
Yeah, it was a decent showing. So and they're obviously in the same league as Avondale, however, opposite ends of the table. But yeah, it's going to be that was in Melbourne as well. So this is their second trip to Melbourne for the FFA Cup. So
and Avondale definitely be a bigger test for them than Northcote were, given, as you said, where they are on the table. But
obviously,
it's there for them.
It's magic of the cup.
Yeah, and Devonport. I mean, if you think about the kind of the last couple of weeks that they've had and what the next week could look like for them, in the space of a week they could knock out Avondale from the FFA Cup, reach the quarterfinals, and win the title in Tasmania. So it's all there for them. Yeah,
that'd be awesome. Or the opposite, Jake, they could lose it all, and South Hobart could catch them down in Tasmania too.
Important week.
2 rounds to go. Yeah, big time. All right, I'm going to the next one, Jake. Broadmeadow Magic are at home to Bentley Greens. Now, if you look at this graph here, right down the bottom, it's they're pretty similar paths here, pretty similar trajectories. Just Broadmeadow are about 100 points behind for the last 5 years, but they're looking pretty similar, starting low and finishing quite high, so they're doing well. Broadmeadow, as we mentioned, sort of off the back of some poor form. It has here that they've lost their game on the weekend and won the game before. I thought they had lost 2 in a row, but maybe I missed.
No, I think you're right there, Cody. I think what has happened is Jake's made a bit of an error there, or actually what happened was this image that we're looking at in terms of those win-draw, or the last 5 games was done before the weekend for a couple of these clubs. So
that's all right. It doesn't matter, Jake.
Yeah, you can put that on me. That's okay.
Yeah, making mistakes left, right and centre. Anyways, Bentley Greens going as favourites, as you'd sort of expect. They're such a great club, sort of top 3, 4, 5 non-A-League clubs in the country, whereas Broadmeadow are ranked in at sort of 28th. Bentley Greens ranked in at 11th. So they go in as favourites, 57%, even though they are away from home. Yeah, I don't know. The home support, home crowd on a Tuesday night might be enough to get them home, Broadmeadow. I would be backing Bentley Greens, but it's going to be a tight one. Jake, next one, will we see an upset?
No. No, I don't think there's much chance at all, to be honest with you. Cairns FC versus Sydney FC. I guess all you can really say for Cairns in their favour is that they're at home and Sydney are going to have to travel up to Cairns, so it's not an easy trip. Just got a little dog in the background here for those at home. We don't edit. It's all raw. Yeah, so Cairns are given a 1% chance of winning this one, and I think I probably wouldn't go much further than that, to be honest. I mean, it is pre-season, so you just never know with Sydney. Maybe they have an off night, but Cairns have struggled in their own league in the Queensland NPL a bit, particularly in recent weeks. They've only won one of the last 5 games, had a draw on the weekend and 2 losses before that. They're currently ranked at 73rd in the country, and they've been falling, I guess, this year. They started, they had a month, probably a month and a half ago, they had a few wins or a few good games, but other than that, it's kind of been a very mediocre season for them, but compared to like what Fun of Queensland Heat under their previous name, they've had a few really great seasons in previous years, so this one's probably a little bit disappointing for them. Having said that, they did win against Armidale in the round of 32, and it was their first FFA Cup win, and they won that, was it 4-0, I think? They won it easily in the end, although it was against 10 men for most of the games. So I can't see it, Cody. I don't know, what do you think? Does that 1% chance look okay to you, or what do you give them?
Yeah, I'd probably give them a few more, maybe 5 to 10, just simply because it's that caveat, Jake, for the A-League clubs. It really is just pre-season, and as you saw against Rockdale City, Sydney sort of started very slowly in that first half.
Yep.
Their quality came through in the second half, though, and I think they will be a few weeks into further their pre-season. They will be too good. I'm predicting a 4-1 win there, Jake.
Good one.
Cool. Anyways, that's the round of 16, the 4 games, and we'll touch on the rest of the games as they come up in the coming weeks. But that's it for now. Jake, part 3 of the show is we're actually also still previewing some games, so we'll try and move through these pretty quickly to keep the show relatively short. I'll jump into my 2 games, and Jake, I believe you got 3, so cool. Let's go to Victoria, where we are Green Gully versus Hume City, and this is relegation spot playoff. Really important, 11th v 12th in the Victorian NPL. With 2 games remaining, these 2 clubs are really fighting for survival, and because whatever team finishes 12th on the ladder will be playing off against a team from the NPL 2, and the winner of that game will be in the NPL 1 or NPL in 2019. So Green Gully ranked in at 48th, Hume City 42nd, pretty close on the rankings. Green Gully going as very slight favourites because they are at home. Next game, Launceston City versus Devonport City. We were just talking about Devonport. With 2 games to go remaining, if Devonport pick up the win here, they are premiers of the Tasmanian NPL. Not mathematically, well, yeah, they are, but yeah, South Hobart really mathematically can still win if they win, but
they turn around about
winning by
25
about 20 goal
difference.
Yeah. So yeah, it's done and dusted. So Devonport City win this, they're good. If they drop points, they leave the door open for South Hobart. And South Hobart have got Olympia Warriors this weekend. So, but Launceston City are no mugs. They're sitting in at 3rd, and they're ranked in at 132nd as compared to Devonport's 47th. But as we well know, Launceston City have been climbing up the rankings this year, so it's probably too low of a ranking. Devonport City go in as favourites, 69%. Jake, your 3 games.
Yeah, I've got 3, and they're all finals games this week. So I kind of looked across, and there's most of these kind of do or die, or we might see the end of a season for at least one of these clubs. So the first one's South Australia. It's Adelaide City versus Metrostars, and it's what they call the preliminary final. So the winner will go on to face Campbelltown City, who are already confirmed to be in the grand final, and the loser is done for the year. So Adelaide City finished 2nd in the regular season, Metrostars 3rd. They're both ranked inside the top 20 clubs in Australia, so they're both really top clubs. And don't need to say much about that. I think it'll be a great game. Adelaide City given a 45% chance of winning at home, and Metrostars 32% chance. So that home advantage coming in. And I'm looking at my own screen here, Cody. There's now 2 dogs walking around in the background, so bit of fun for the audience there. Next one for me, New South Wales, and it's Sydney Olympic versus Sydney United, and it's the major semi-final. Obviously, New South Wales. The winner of this one goes straight into the grand final. The loser gets a second chance, and they'll play the week after against the winner of Apia and Rockdale City Suns. Olympic, obviously, as we mentioned, finished premiers in the regular season. Sydney United finished 3rd, but they did beat Apia in the penalty shootout last week, so should be a pretty even game. We've got Sydney Olympic at home with the advantage there, 47% chance of winning. Sydney United, 30% chance. So still reasonably even there. So I'll be interested to see whether the supporters go with the favourite, Sydney Olympic, or whether they think Sydney United can continue on with their recent form. The last one that I have, as we've mentioned before as well, is in the ACT. It's a rematch of the game that happened weekend just gone. It's Canberra FC versus Canberra Olympic, and it's the major semi-final there between the clubs that finished first and second in the season. So, as I mentioned before as well, in terms of the rankings, Canberra FC with a win in this game could go up, or shoot up the rankings and be the highest ranked club in the ACT, depending on the goal margins. So, in terms of the numbers, this is actually even closer than some of the other ones. We've got Canberra FC given a 43% chance of winning, Canberra Olympic given a 35% chance of winning. So, quite close.
Close one. Cool. Thank you, Jake. And those games will be up for voting on Instagram stories on Wednesday evening. I know this show will come out on Tuesday, but I'm going to wait until Wednesday to post them, simply because we've got the time and there's so much FFA Cup going on the Tuesday. I'm sure we'll be getting busy with the stories there. Jake, anything else from you?
Nothing from me, Cody. It's been a good one.
Yeah, it's been a good one, been a quick one. And I just want to say thanks to Lions this week for supplying this jersey. And Jake, you want to say thanks to Avondale?
I do. I want to say thanks to Avondale, and I'll say good luck, but at the same time, I Devonport, I consider they've had a great season, so I'll be. I'm kind of
nice to get a Devonport jersey, Jake.
I'm kind of Devonport. Anybody watching from Devonport? Anyway, I'm kind of sitting on the fence on that one a little bit. I'll support whoever wins, but I'll probably be wearing the Avondale jersey because that's the one that I've got. So and thanks to, as I said, thanks to the Avondale guys for shooting this jersey up to us.
Big time. And I don't have any jerseys to wear tomorrow night, Jake, for the FFA Cup. There's no teams here, so we got to do our job a bit better. We've got to get some more jerseys anyway.
You've got an Arpia one there somewhere, don't you, Cody?
Oh, of course I do.
Yeah,
all right, Arpia done. That'll be on tomorrow night, and when they beat Melbourne Victory. So, okay, Jake, thanks for tonight, and thank you guys for watching. Please join us over on the socials. We're there. You can send us a message anywhere, really, and we'll respond. So, thank you very much for watching round 27 of the TPO Ranking Show. See you later.